The Mona Lisa. Da Vinci began painting this masterpiece in 1503. Art historians have scrutinized her face for generations. Did Da Vinci hide cryptic messages in this work of art? Are there codes in his paintings that lead to the discovery of the true Holy Grail?
Artists have hidden symbols in their work, speaking their truths in plain sight.
New Hampshire author Dan Brown's 2003 best-selling book, The Da Vinci Code, explores that theory.
The Mona Lisa.
What do you see?
Oh, I still get that feeling when I stand before her. Could Da Vinci have imagined that this one painting would reach across the centuries, connecting him standing at his canvas to us here, now?
But do you see anything there? If my grandfather was calling on your expertise,
Oh,
then...
yeah, right, sorry, symbols.
I was told not to hurt you! 5. Oh, draconianness, mirror writing.
The mystery, featuring Brown's protagonist, symbologist Robert Langdon, now unfolding on stage at the Ogunquit Playhouse.
What did he know about this painting that no one else did? Your grandfather would have known this painting for more than an enigmatic smile.
Well, then what?
It's the story kind of on steroids. It's compressed, it's fast, it's slick, and the cast is just so good.
We sat down with author Dan Brown at his Seacoast home just before the premiere. He did not write the play, but he kept close tabs on the production.
The setting is really remarkable. You get to see codes hovering midair that people are solving and that sort of thing. It's just, it's very modern and exciting.
I made a promise that one day you would understand. You just have to see what is in front of you.
It's blood.
It's a wonderful story. It's the most thrilling thriller I've ever read.
British playwrights Rachel Wagstaff and Duncan Abel wrote the play, and it premiered in London in 2022.
There was so much to absolutely love about the book, but the difficulty was how to keep everything in and what we necessarily had to leave out. So we ended up condensing quite a bit or eliding to make sure that we kept as much as humanly possible, but still within a form that would work in a theatre.
We need to talk privately. Make an excuse to get out of here.
So you get different parts of the Louvre fly in, and then we head over to London. So finding the dynamics of a book and a version of the story that moves very quickly in this stage production has been really challenging but really fun.
The story follows Robert Langdon, the Harvard professor of symbology, who is wrongfully accused of killing the curator of the Louvre in Paris. With the help of Sophie Neveu, the victim's granddaughter, Langdon dodges police while the pair try to unlock a series of clues left behind by the victim. Will the clues lead them to the Holy Grail? And what will the revelations mean to the very roots of Christianity?
It's another anagram.
So dark, the con of man.
Madonna of the Rocks. Come on.
The production features Michael Urie and Hannah Cruz, as well as this familiar face, veteran actor Charles Shaughnessy, making a return to the Ogunquit Playhouse after starring in Monty Python and the Holy Grail. We sensing a theme here.
It's amazing to me that I've been here twice before as King Arthur in Spamalot, looking for the Holy Grail, and here I am in the Da Vinci Code playing Sir Lee Teabing. Guess what? Looking for the Holy Grail.
All I'm saying is what the brothers of the Priory would tell you, what Leonardo himself was trying to tell us.
Everyone believes they have the moral high ground, even if they are killing people or doing dreadful things. They're doing it for a good cause. So that was kind of a good thing to take into this character, who's not what he seems at all.
The set changes are fast-paced, and the script blends humor with heart-pounding suspense.
Well, I think it's safe to say that the clue to opening the cryptex can be found by visiting a knight's tomb in London.
Any idea which knight he means?
Well, that's what's so exciting about this clue, Robert. I don't have the foggiest idea.
Charles's character, Sir Lee Teabing, is key to a plot twist in the second act. Despite the popularity of the book and movie, not everyone in the audience knows the story.
Every night there is at least one gasp. There's one kind of,
When it comes up, when the hood comes off.
Yeah, what? So that's always fun.
We would like to talk to you about the Priory of Sion.
Oh, Robert's fairly well versed in the Priory.
But you're the expert, Lee.
Oh, he's playing to my vanity, and I love it.
It's all laid out from scratch, so you can see the play without any idea what you're coming to see. You have never heard of the Da Vinci Code, and you'll understand what's going on and go for the ride.
On opening night at the Ogunquit Playhouse,
Help me welcome Dan Brown.
friends and family, including Dan Brown's 87-year-old father, gather at the Playhouse for the first night of the production, a sold-out show.
All the laughs in the right places and dead silence at the moments when they're looking through Temple Church at the crypt and all of that. So I think it worked great.
Where Professor Langdon will turn up next is unknown. Could he be bound for Broadway?
Picture the scene. You're being chased through the Louvre. What do?
Until then, Langdon's search for the Holy Grail takes place at the Ogunquit Playhouse. For Brown, premiering the Da Vinci Code play on the Seacoast has special significance.
And then we did the same thing, really, for the movies. Da Vinci Code premiere, we came out at the Ioka Theater in Exeter. Angels and Demons, we were at the Music Hall in Portsmouth, and also Inferno, we were at the Music Hall in Portsmouth. And so to have the premiere of, you know, the North American premiere of the stage play, which is an entirely new way to receive the story and experience the story, to have that here on the Seacoast feels absolutely like a tradition. It feels perfect.